$64 million question, what is a nurdle? So nurdles are plastic resin pellets. They are raw form of plastic. So if you're going to manufacture any type of plastic product, you need a raw material to start with, and that's what a nurdle is. So these nurdles would then get put into a heat mould or a blow mould and manufactured into products like containers or buckets or bottles or bags. So they shouldn't really be escaping into the environment. They're not plastic that's been made into something that's fragmenting and breaking up. They actually haven't even been processed yet. Once nurdles released into the environment, they float, they're really buoyant, and they can travel really far distances, so it can impact environments far away from their source. They also resemble fish eggs, so anything that would eat a fish egg would potentially ingest a nurdle. And they act a little bit like a sponge when they're in the environment, so they will sop up any kind of toxins that they might come into contact with and actually release them in areas with less of those toxins. So if a fish or a seabird would eat a nurdle, not only are they swallowing plastic, they're also actually swallowing toxic plastic that could be laden with chemicals. The main source of loss of plastic resin pellets or nurdles into the environment are either through the manufacturing process, where they're actually lost at a site which manufactures them. It could just be a basic spill that doesn't get cleaned up and it leaches through the stormwater drains, or also through the logistics companies, so either on ships or on trucks that might have a spill, and they can basically trickle the stuff as they transport them from one point to another point. So in Warrnambool, the spill occurred actually through the waste treatment plant, where pellets were part of a load that was dumped through the treatment plant from a supplier, and they escaped into the environment. As the pipe at Warrnambool doesn't go very far offshore, a lot of the wind and the wave action distributed all of these pellets back on the beach very, very localised, and so that's why they were there in such large numbers. The community responded immediately and notified the treatment plant, who were able to stop further losses. But the damage had really already been done with, potentially hundreds of thousands of millions of these pellets just being released into the local environment. What happened in Warrnambool really raised the spotlight on nurdle loss into the environment, and it became really clear that this was an ongoing issue that needed to be addressed. And in the recent months, the EPA has issued a guidance on pellet handling and nurdle loss, and has really put a message out to the industry that this is not an acceptable form of loss, and it will be looked at a lot more closely as we go into the future. Operation Cleansweep is an industry program that has a goal of reducing pellet loss from the plastics and the logistics companies. And we try and engage everybody that handles or transports or uses plastic resin pellets to adopt the program to make sure that they're not responsible for trickling these beads out into the environment.